All right, we're going to try to muscle through the rest. We have a lot to get to with the trade deadline.
Whew.
I think 3 or 4 more deals went on as soon as we went live. I just
I
saw
can't even keep up.
Ahmed Rosario just got traded to the Dodgers. Again, this is what, his third stint over there? I don't know.
He goes back
Where,
every time he gets away, he goes back.
where are they going to put all these middle infielders? You just picked
know.
up Tommy Edmond, or
Well,
you just got Rosario.
which
Betts is
leads me to
coming back at some point.
say it means you must be moving Mookie back to the outfield because obviously the shortstop experiment wasn't working out great. But you must be moving him back to the outfield if you're bringing in all these middle infielders.
I got to. I don't know.
Edmund, Rosario, like you're not going to play those guys anywhere else. And what does that? Where does that leave Gavin Lux? Like, do you not believe he's?
You still got Miggy Rojas, right? Is he still there?
You've got 6 guys for 2 spots now.
Yeah, crazy. But all right, let's muscle through these MLB trade deadline deals here. So first one, not a huge splash, but kind of a bolster to the Diamondbacks bullpen here is AJ Puck to the Diamondbacks for 2 top 30 prospects. So
that's a pretty good haul for the Marlins and a good move for the Diamondbacks to bring a very good arm into that bullpen.
Yeah. So Marlins in complete sell. So there he's gone.
Every freaking year they're in complete sell. Like, what's new?
I mean, facts. All right. Next one, I got this one. Randy Arozarena to the Mariners for 2 prospects and the old famous player to be named later. Do we like that fit with Randy Arozarena in Seattle?
I mean, they need some pop. I mean, this is not exactly an offense that sets the world on fire.
No.
So I mean, they need pop. He hit a home run tonight, and they're down 14-3. But he hit a home run tonight. I don't know. I like it for the Mariners.
He's the man in the home run when they're out of the game. Like, that's what he does.
Oh, no, sir. That is Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa was the king of the meaningless home run.
Fair,
Give me down by 1 in the 8th, and this guy wouldn't do shit. You put them up 12 in the 4th, and he's pimping his way around the bases. Anyways, I like it. I like it for Seattle. I mean, they need pop, right? I mean, they need what they can to get runs across the plate. I mean, he's a proven guy that can hit home runs. He slugs. I don't think it puts Seattle over the top. I don't think it makes them.
No, but this is either going to be one of the best trades they ever make or worst trades they ever make. Randy Arozarena has the tendency to get really hot and carry a team. He also can get really cold and act like a fool and take everybody down with him. There's no middle ground with Arozarena. He's either like lighting the world on fire or driving everybody crazy. And I worry with that team, if he doesn't light the world on fire, it's going to end up being a really, really bad situation.
Just adding another black hole in that lineup.
Well, and another guy who's a distraction and just a pain. Like ask Tampa. Like, the guy is nothing but distraction.
Yeah. All right. Next deal. Paxton back to the Sox. How do we like that?
I like it. I mean, I liked him when he was here. He was one of the guys, if you guys remember at the beginning of the season, he was one of the guys that I noted I wish the Sox were able to keep him with the incoming of Andrew Bailey, because I do think Andrew Bailey has done a really nice job with this staff. I don't think that's a secret about the importance of getting strike one, pitchers getting ahead in counts. And I think when Paxton gets ahead, he is a very effective pitcher.
Yep.
And so I like it. I mean, it's end of July. I mean, how many starts is he going to have with the Red Sox? How much impact can he possibly? I don't know. I mean, they needed arms.
You're going to get 8 or 9 starts out of him. And
I mean, it's not done. I mean, they still need arms, but I like it.
He's the only lefty starter they have, right? He's the only lefty starter they got, right?
Yeah, like actual starter, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 8-2 with a 4.43 ERA in LA. He wasn't bad. They just didn't have any room for him because they finally have all the hurt guys coming back. And I agree with Sean. I looked at Paxton and Waka as the 2 guys that kind of got away. That would have been nice to have added to this bullpen, or not this bullpen, this rotation to give you some depth. Having him come back, I'm not upset about. I do think that he's pitched well for the Dodgers. It's a nice addition. Does he change the outcome for this team? It's not that big a deal, but I think he definitely helps.
Yeah. All right. This was a pretty big one. Austin Hayes to the Phillies for Christian Pache and Sir Anthony Dominguez.
That's a good move for the Phillies. They
Yeah.
I agree.
some instant versatility. I think it's a good move for the Phillies. I mean, and
they're
the
not playing,
Orioles
they're not
got a
playing good
decent
baseball right now, but
the Phillies are wretched since the All-Star break, but
mhm.
and the Orioles get a high ceiling guy in Dominguez and Pache, who's kind of a good flex speed guy. So it's not a bad deal.
Dominguez kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say fills that Felix Bautista role, but definitely helps. You could probably move Cano. You give Cano a little bit of buffer there before the ninth there, if he's good.
I mean, you can never have enough bullpen arms. So if you can get a good bullpen arm, you take him.
Yep, absolutely agree. All right, next one, the big one.
I hate this trade.
The Jazz Chisholm to the Yankees. He did homer tonight for his first Yankee home run.
Nice.
And he's playing third base tonight.
Yeah.
So it looks like DJ LeMahieu is on the outs. Did they DFA him officially yet? Or
no,
not?
but it sounds like they're about to. They tried to trade him, they couldn't. Now it's on they're going to DFA him because let's be serious. Like LeMahieu is a black hole. He's got to go. He's not the same guy he was. He's a shell of his former self.
He's hitting like 190.
He's got to go. And I think
he's won a batting title for crying out loud.
I know, not even that long ago. I mean, this is not a guy. This is a guy who's only a few years removed from being a elite type hitter, and now he's lost. And I think where Jazz works for them is he can play second, he can play third, he can play the outfield. Like he can fill a couple of holes for them and kind of rotate around. Because second base has been a problem, third's been a problem, outfield's really not a problem. But
Grisham isn't what they need. They need a stabilizing force in the center, and as good as Judge is a top 3 player in baseball, and he ain't 1 and 2. I mean, he ain't 2 and 3. Yeah. But Judge, I don't want Judge. If I'm a Yankee fan, I don't want him playing every day in center field.
No, absolutely not.
Like I don't want him. He can do it and win a Gold Glove and be dominant because that's who he is. But I don't want him playing every day in center field. Like I think Jazz gives them a ton of versatility, Harrison. Yep. To your point, I don't know. It's the same thing that they have all up and down this lineup, though. I mean, it's a guy that hits home runs that has an over 30% K rate. I mean, it's just like how many. It's just what they are. I mean, it's they're a game out of first place right now. So let's not pretend that the Yankees are having a terrible season. No. The Yankees are a good baseball team. But I think when you get into August and September and then into the postseason, and when you get to the postseason specifically, you only face good teams. There are no bad teams in the playoffs. And you face good teams with good managers, good pitching staffs, good approaches to lineups. And
the Yankees have a good manager, Sean, right?
But that's where the Yankees always stop it. That's where the Yankees always find themselves kind of not in trouble, but lacking.
Yep.
Because it's just a lineup with a bunch of the same guys, Judge excluded. I mean, Judge is the best hitter in baseball for my money. But outside of that, it's a lot of guys that strike out a lot. And it's a lot of guys that when they run into it, they can hit home runs. It's exactly what Jazz is.
Yep.
So, I mean, he gives them some defensive versatility. I think it's an immediate upgrade over like a Trent Grisham, no question.
Yeah, or a Gleyber Torres or DJ LeMahieu, probably.
No question, LeMahieu.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, I think it works for them. I think it was a good move for them. But I still have questions about that lineup just because this is just what they are. They're just a bunch of strikeouts and they run into home runs.
I 1,000% agree with you on the lineup. Like he's another guy who's going to run into 1K a lot. With Jazz, though, like you look at that Yankees lineup, or that Yankees roster, it's Cole and Soto and Judge and Verdugo and Rizzo. And like, these are professionals. Jazz is a loudmouthed, brash child. And like, how well does he integrate? Now it can go one of two ways. He'll either drive these guys crazy or they'll help convert him and show him the way. I don't know how it goes, but Aaron Judge in a pennant race and a home run race doesn't need to babysit Jazz Chisholm. And like, that's what I worry about. Like he becomes a distraction because he is such a pain in the ass.
But I agree with your principle. I don't fully agree with this particular example. I don't think Judge looks at it as babysitting. I think Aaron Judge is the truest professional of all professionals.
Oh, I totally agree.
You saw the way he handled the Marcus Stroman thing, right? Yep. When Marcus Stroman was showing up his middle infielders for not turning that double play. right? And Judge point blank, walked over to him on the bench. We don't do that here.
Yep.
We don't do that here. You do it in Chicago. You do it with the Mets. You do it other places you live. We don't do that here. That's not what we do with the Yankees. And that was it.
Yep.
You know, and he is so respected and so revered and so loved, if you will, in that locker room. I see a scenario happening pretty quickly where Jazz Chisholm does Jazz things, and Judge just shuts it down.
Yep.
We don't do that here. That's not how we do it here. You might do it in other locker rooms, do it in Miami. We don't do it here. And then it is what it is. And because they do have the list of professionals that you listed, which I agree with, they all fall in line right behind Aaron Judge. So when Aaron Judge is the guy that makes that statement, and then you have the Rizzos, and then you have the Sotos, and you have the other guys that are stepping up, the Garrett Cole's going, yeah, he's right. We don't do that here. You know, and then it's Jazz versus those guys. He doesn't stand much of a chance. Like I don't see it becoming a distraction as much of a learning opportunity, where I think it happens once, maybe twice, and then that's it. And then he's just a guy that falls in line.
Yeah. If Jazz can learn and can adapt, I think it's a great move. It just, can he?
I hear you.
And I agree with you though. If there's anywhere to go for him, this might be the best place for him to go and actually grow up and take this seriously.
Yeah, it's fair. All right, next one we got Zach Eflin to the Orioles. So as we said, the Rays are in full sell.
They're unloading.
Yeah. So Eflin kind of backing up Burns and stuff in there, another bolster to their rotation there. Yeah. I like this move. Gives the Orioles another solid starter.
And Tampa Bay gets what they want, a bunch of prospects. They love prospects.
I still want the Orioles to either get Skubal or Crochet. I think it's a long shot. They have until tomorrow at 4, I think is the deadline. So still kind of a long shot. I think the White Sox released today that Crochet and Robert is kind of unlikely at this point, which I don't understand. You'd get the biggest haul for them.
Tuesday, 6 o'clock, Nick. So tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Okay. So maybe they're just not getting the trade packages they wanted for Crochet and Robert, and that's why they're just like, never mind. We're just, taking them off the table.
And the White Sox just casually go lose 14 in a row, and it's fine.
Yeah. Are they behind tonight? Have they started? Because this could be their franchise record tonight. They're going for.
Doesn't matter. I mean,
they have lost 14 straight twice this season.
They're down 2-1 to KC after 4.
Dang, crazy. So I like this move for the Orioles.
Yep.
It's another step in the right direction.
Again, if you can get arms, you get them. This is the time of year you stockpile arms and figure it out.
Absolutely. All right. This one, not a really big needle mover, but another bolster for the Mariners. They get Yimi Garcia. The Blue Jays are in sell mode.
Sort of.
Still kind of waiting to see if Bichette and Guerrero get moved. It's been quiet on that front, but
they're selling off like the pieces on the edge, but like they're not dealing with the issue of like Bichette and Guerrero. Like one of those guys probably should go. Like you've got to if you're going to do this thing, like strap dynamite to it and blow it up.
Which makes you wonder: are they going to try to run it back again?
Right.
Like, do they still not look at this and say this core isn't working? We need to blow. Like I don't know. I mean, I don't. Maybe they address it in the off season. I don't know. I don't know. I'm obviously not in the room, but it's an odd one because they're nibbling, right?
It is like
around the edges.
The definition about. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. They just keep doing the same thing over and over again, thinking it's like magically going to fix itself. It doesn't work, guys.
And to the point of the problem that you guys have is not the fringe pieces. We tried all different fringe pieces.
Right.
We've tried them all. It's not it.
No, it ain't it.
So I don't know.
Ryan Stanek to the Mets. His debut was not.
Wow,
stellar.
that was a rough debut. Getting booed.
It was not stellar.
He was 12 pitches into his debut, getting booed by the fans. Like it was bad.
Well, he had given up. Was it 5 runs in that inning or something like that?
It was ugly. It was really ugly.
He got lit up. So Ryan Stanek to the Mets. Jesse Winker to the Mets. Kind of has had a resurgent year. We'll see if he can do anything.
I like it. The Mets need a left-handed bat in the outfield.
It makes sense.
And it not just makes sense. I think he's a very good fit for that ball club.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think with what he does defensively, his ability to hit from the left side of the plate, which is what they sorely need, I think he fits very well with them. I hope it works. Obviously, I'm a Met guy, so I hope it works. And I just think he's a cool guy. So, like, I hope it works just because I think Jesse Winker's a cool guy. So I hope it works for my team.
And I think last week I mentioned the fact that he's been kind of one of those guys who's been a disappointment because he had that really good year 3-4 years ago, and he's never really come back to that level. But he reminds me of like a Jason Hayward. Like, he's never gonna be the guy you think he could be, but he's solid enough to hang around, and he can play defense, and he can come up with big hits when you need him. He's just not like he's not a great player, but he's a good piece to have.
Yeah. All right. And Nate Pearson to the Cubs. So another, again, kind of a failed starter, turned to reliever, going to the Cubs, Blue Jays, getting rid of him.
Yeah.
Does this do anything for the Cubs?
Not really, but like I want to ask you guys, like I was under the impression the Cubs thinking they're going to be sellers, and they're kind of like showing that maybe they're not, because they're really not that far out of it, and they do have a soft second half schedule. Like, do you think the Cubs are indicating like they feel like they're going to be in it, or are they just like moving pieces around because it makes sense?
I think it's a combo of both, maybe. Like maybe they're moving pieces to help their team, but not really going all in, expecting to get far, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is
kind of just kind of hold fast kind of thing.
I mean, this is kind of what we said over the last couple of weeks, though. I mean, this is kind of what happens when you add that additional wild card spot, where they're a couple games under 500, but they're 5 games out of that last spot. Now, there are a number of teams ahead of them, right? So, I mean, they're going to have to leapfrog quite a few teams, but 5 games at the end of July is not that much. Add in the fact that you do have a relatively soft, easy schedule coming down the stretch. They started off playing good baseball. They started off the beginning of the year playing good baseball. And I think if you're in the front office and you're looking, well, we still have those pieces. We still have those guys. Like if we can play good baseball again and maybe just get a couple of, pieces over here that can help us get back to playing just good team baseball, maybe we can make up those 5 games. Like, they're not 12 games out of a playoff spot. 5 games is 5 games. I mean, it's not that much. So it's doable, certainly. So I don't know. Like, I don't know. Does Nate Pearson get them over the hump? I don't think so. But
no.
It is an odd
piece.
One. He's a good piece. It's odd because for a team that's under 500 at the end of July, you'd think they'd be like, okay, let's get what we can get for our guys. And they're sitting here like ramping up for a playoff run. It's bizarre.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
It's weird.
Yep. Okay, another Rays piece move. Jason Adams to the Padres. I like this for the Padres. I mean, it's a guy that's at the back end of your bullpen that can close out games and keep your teams in it.
The Padres are very quietly, like they're 57 and 51, 6.5 games back of the Dodgers. They've got a wild card spot right now. They've kind of very quietly slid into the back end of this playoff picture. It's a good move. That team is kind of just very, very quietly going about their business and hanging around.
Yep. And he's got one of the best changeups going right now.
Oh, he does. It's nasty.
This dude's changeup is
he's effective.
Really,
I mean, he's been effective. I mean, this is a guy who knows how to pitch. He knows how to get outs, particularly in high leverage situations. I don't hate the move at all.
Yeah. How are the Rays using him?
As a closer, I think.
Was he closing?
Wasn't he their closer?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the guy can do a little bit of everything.
So my question is this prospect that moved? Is this like the Homer Bush Jr.?
I was going to ask you that question too. Is this like was his dad Homer Bush the pitcher?
That's what I was thinking, but I think it's too young. There's another Homer Bush that played for the Yankees, Toronto, Florida from 97 to 04. It might be him. Because I think Homer Bush, the pitcher, is too young, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I saw the name and I'm like, wait a second. Like, maybe?
Or am I thinking of a different one?
No, you're right. Homer Bush was a top prospect of like the Reds.
Yeah. So I don't know. But I was like, interesting name there. But all right, moving on. Here we go. Isaac Paredes to the Cubs for Christopher Morel and then 2 prospects. How do we like this?
I-
I mean,
Can I ask? I mean, I Paredes I think is a very good player, but like when you look at him statistically, like is he that big an upgrade over Morel? Like, am I overrating Morel or am I underrating Paredes?
I think
like-
you're underrating
I think you're-
Paredes because he can be a 300 hitter.
Oh yeah, and Morel's
With-
like
with some pop.
scratching too.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's like 199. Like power and RBIs are kind of the same, but I was looking at like, is this really a big upgrade or is this kind of like we're taking a shot? Because I mean, Morel's been huge for that team in terms of like big hits at big moments, and the fans love him. And like, are you really
Well,
gaining
I don't
enough with
know.
Paredes?
Do the fans love him? I don't know. I mean, I obviously not in the room, and I just stuff you see on Twitter and social media and whatnot. It's there's been a number of times over the last month you got the Cubs losing, crucial games, whether it's going into the All-Star break, coming right out of the All-Star break, and they're not playing well. And it's Cubs fans are frustrated, and he's pimping like a solo home run when they're down 11-2, and he makes it 11-3, and it's like. That kind of stuff. Like, I wonder, does that wear on you in the locker room? Like, if you're a Cub, are you just like, again, man, like it's all about you? Like, you're
At
hitting
some point.
199 for crying out loud,
Right.
And I wonder if it's a less is more kind of situation. Like, I do think Paredes is a little bit better of a player than Chris Morel. Is it a huge upgrade? Maybe not,
No.
but maybe just to get that type of person, like maybe get that out of the locker room and just bring in a fresh face is maybe kind of more of the thought.
Almost like addition by subtraction.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I have no idea. I'm just making
it's
some
fair.
shit up here just from what I'm seeing. But because I don't know. Like, on its face, is it that big of an upgrade? Probably not. But I wonder if the antics are just kind of growing old there in Chicago for him.
It's fair.
Could be. All right, Carlos Estevez to the Phillies. So the Angels closer goes
Charlie
to the Phillies.
Sheen to the Phillies.
Yes. So
I mean, the Phillies bullpen has been really good the last month and a half. They've been one of the best bullpens in baseball. It again never hurts to just pile arms in.
yeah, this definitely bolsters it for sure.
Yeah.
So Jansen to the Red Sox. So another ex-Blue Jay coming to the Red Sox to be a catcher here. So Reese McGuire was DFA'd.
I still don't get this one because is Jansen. I mean, Jansen is a very, very good catcher. Don't get me wrong, but you brought him in, DFA'd McGuire. Did you really gain anything out of this?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean,
I think Jansen's a great catcher having a bad year, but
I think you gain a little bit out of it. Like McGuire's just not the guy.
No, I mean he's a defensive specialist. I mean he's another Maldonado. But
so I did see this today. This is pretty crazy. June 26th, Danny Jansen starts as a catcher for the Blue Jays against the Red Sox. The game was suspended in the second inning due to rain. August 26th, the game will resume with a potential for Jansen playing for Boston. He could be the first player in Major League history to appear in a game for both teams.
Oh, yeah, same game. Yeah, look at that.
That's wild.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. So we'll see if that happens, but that would be pretty awesome. All right, so here's the three-teamer that went down here.
And no summer is complete without Tommy Pham getting traded, just for the record. He
Absolutely
has to get traded.
Yeah.
My buddy.
So,
that's right.
Just need two bases, Tommy. Just two.
Two total bases. He acknowledged me. He didn't get it.
You were yelling at him from the bleachers, and he just waved at you. He's like, yeah, I got you.
4 innings. I was on his case for 4 innings.
And then he tried to throw you a ball, and someone jumped up in front of him.
That's also true.
Totally true.
That's also true.
We had witnesses.
Yeah. So Michael Kopech from the White Sox go to the Dodgers. Tommy Edman from the Cardinals go to the Dodgers.
Another middle infielder.
Yep. So then Tommy Pham and Eric Feedy from the White Sox go to the Cardinals. This is a sneaky good move, I think, for the Cardinals. Depending,
could be.
They're in second place in the Central right now, right? Still.
Yep.
So I think another starter in there kind of helps them. And then the White Sox just get back prospects because, well, it's the White Sox. I think LA wins this trade, obviously.
Yeah, Kopech throws 100 miles an hour out of the bullpen. Edman is a very, very versatile solid player. I think the
Yeah.
Dodgers win the trade this season, but I think it's the White Sox are just stockpiling prospects, and the Cardinals get a couple pieces they kind of need. Pham gives some versatility. Fetty's an arm. It's not a bad deal for them.
No, I don't mind that at all. So, a good one. Okay, let's get into it. Quinn Priester from the Pirates to the Red Sox for Nick York.
Like it.
I don't.
I like it too. Harrison
don't.
doesn't.
I don't. I mean, Quinn Priester's a guy who's proven he can't make the leap to MLB. Maybe Andrew Bailey can fix him, and which would be great. Nick York was likely your future second baseman. Again, potential versus. I mean, in my mind, you're trading your potential second baseman for the long term of Nick York for a guy who's proven he can't make the leap to Major League Baseball.
Well, he's 23.
If you can
He's
fix
23.
Quinn Priester's got
23.
Yes, he's got a good arm. If you can fix him, because I mean he's been terrible in capital letters in MLB, 6+ ERA. He's unusable right now. So the Pirates are dumping a former top prospect who's fallen off their map completely, grabbing a current top prospect who's kind of maybe a guy without a position. So I mean, it's not a bad trade. It's just I look at it and go, you're giving up Nick York with potential for Quinn Priester, who's proven he can't make the leap, unless you think you can fix him.
Yeah, so I think obviously they think they can fix him, or they wouldn't have made the deal. He's 23 years old. I think that the big part here, though, is you were going to lose Nick York in the Rule 5.
Yep.
Unless he was added to the 40-man roster this year, he is unprotected Rule 5 in December, and he was going to get picked.
Yep.
He was going to get picked up. And I think the thought process here was, okay, are we going to add him to the 40-man roster this year? Unless it's 100% yes, I think we go, okay, well, what can we get for him? And I think the names are tough because Quinn Priester, former top pick, top prospect, has proven up until this point that he struggles at this particular level. So you're looking at like a declining prospect versus a rising prospect, somebody who looks like they're going to do some serious damage in Major League Baseball. And you're thinking, this doesn't add up. This doesn't make sense. But I think from the Red Sox perspective, I really think it does make sense. You need arms. This guy doesn't hit free agency until 2030. 2030. I mean, this is a guy that if you can settle the career down and change that trajectory just a little bit, I'm not saying he's Roger Clemens, but if you can change that trajectory a little bit and make him a little bit of a project going into the next year and a half, you could still have 4.5, 5 years of control over this guy for a guy that you likely were going to lose in December anyways. Like I think to me, I look at it that way and I go, I think that's worth pulling the trigger.
Yeah, it's if I'm gonna lose him anyways, then let's get something for him. And Priester's got good arm talent. He's got a high end arm with no command. Now Bailey's proven he can work with that.
Yes, and I think we said when we looked at it, I should have had it up here, Nick. That's on my fault for. I knew this was coming. I should have had it up. Hold on. I mean, this guy has pretty much run his way through minor league baseball. I'm trying to find the numbers here on what he's done in the minors.
Yeah, he debuted almost a year ago. He was a first-round pick in 2019.
Oh, 18 overall, yeah.
Yeah, he was a first-round pick in 2019, the year before Nick York was taken. He debuted last year. But, I mean, literally July 27th, so 2 nights ago, he went 4 innings, gave up 5 earned, 1 walk, 2 Ks, two hit batters.
He has no doubt struggled at the big league level.
It's been bad.
I think to me it's hard to look at a return, a promising arm like that at age 23 and think anything other than, well, I like it considering if we let this thing go another 5 months and get to December, Nick York's gone for nothing.
Right.
I think that's ultimately like the deciding factor for me on whether or not I like it. I mean, it can end up being terrible. I mean, Nick York could end up being the starting second baseman for Pittsburgh for the next 12 years, and Quinn Priester never pitches an inning for the Boston Red Sox. I mean, that's a legitimate possibility. But I think if you're the Red Sox, you got to make the move. You need arms. You need young arms that you can control. because it's really the only way you're bringing this thing back to a legitimate contender year over year is young, controllable arms that can give you significant innings. This is the problem we've had for 3-4 years. We can hit, we can't pitch, and you can't buy pitching gear after year. It's proven you can't do it.
Yeah.
So
No,
you need young arms.
And I think the tough part with this one is that Priester is going to give you nothing this year. He doesn't belong in the major league roster. He should be in AAA. So it's like
I don't
you're
want to
trading.
see him.
Yeah, you're trading prospect for prospect. There's no benefit to the team this year. So whoop-de-doo. Thank you, front office, for bringing us a future arm. But it's like, what the hell are we doing now? Like, how are we helping the team now?
Yeah.
James Paxton. Yeah. No, I hear you.
So I get it. It's a swap of prospects. Like Nick York's a bit of a project. Priester's a bit of a project in different terms. Okay, cool. But like, it doesn't move the needle for me. Now, maybe in 2 years when Priester's lighten up the world, maybe I'm going to feel differently about it. But right now it's kind of like, man, like we gotta race right now. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. I hear you.
All right. Michael Lorenzen to the Royals.
Go Royals, making some moves. I love the fact the Royals are making trades and they're adding and not subtracting.
Yeah. So I like this. Lorenzen's.
I saw a great comment. Go ahead, Nick. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the comment I said is he'll get traded, throw a no-hitter, and then get lit up.
Right.
Yeah.
I laughed out loud when I read that comment. I'm like, that's exactly what he'll do. He's gonna come in, throw a no-hitter, and then be irrelevant.
Yeah. So I mean, whatever. I think this helps the Royals for sure.
I just love the fact that the Royals are in contention and making moves. Amen.
Yep. And Lorenzen can be versatile. He's been in the bullpen before. He can start, like, he can bounce back and forth if he needs to. So
another guy that can get on a heater and win you a number of ball games.
Yep, like him. Dude can rake at the plate too.
He can hit.
Not that it matters anymore, but
no, but he can hit.
That's cool. All right, and then Justin Turner to the Mariners. So another fringe piece by the Blue Jays.
I like it. It's a veteran bat.
I do too.
That team needs it. I like it.
They need it. Yeah. They absolutely need it.
Yeah, so I don't hate that one at all. So and that's
I like it.
Yeah. So like I said, there were some other trades that just happened, but I didn't have time to put them in the slideshow before we started.
The Yankees demolished the Phillies again tonight. The Phillies are in trouble.